Cheers from Japan, I'm the Tokyo Toy Bastard, and it's time for pickups. Yes, I said I would stop doing so many pickup videos, but when I'm on my lunch break, that's really all I have time for. And as I mentioned in my last video, I've got a lot of content planned for the Christmas break, and I'll have 2 weeks off so I can actually produce some well-made content, not just me showing off stuff that I found randomly. Anyway, let's jump into it. Actually, the first thing is not a pickup. It is a custom paint. So in one of my previous videos, actually maybe my last video, I talked about and reviewed the 4-figure set from Sarujirushi, the Shin Godzilla red show exclusives. And I ended up selling 3 of them. But I kept the final form, 4th form, with the closed mouth. And I gave it my own little custom paint job. The first custom paint SOFUBI I've ever done on a Godzilla figure. And it's right here. This is my custom paint. So I decided just to give it some gold highlights. And I just used an acrylic paint pen that I bought at a shop here. And just accented some areas that I thought looked good. And it turned out pretty good. So I'm not one really to keep my own custom work. Even when I produced factory stuff, I usually don't keep my own stuff. If you were familiar with my Boba Fett figures, the Bastard Bobas that I did a couple years back, didn't keep any of them, sold them all. So this is actually something that is up for grabs. So I've had a couple people make offers on the groups that I posted it on. So if you want to make an offer, you know, feel free to send me a message on my Facebook page. I've got a Tokyo Toy Bastard Facebook page, or my Instagram. Both of them you can just search Tokyo Toy Bastards and they're easy to find, but I should have links below, or at least to my blog. My blog has links to both of those. But anyway, there he is. My gold highlight custom Shin Godzilla from Sarujirushi. Definitely looks much better, I think. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. Alright, now for the pickups. Alright, so I've got a couple little categories here. I've got a little bit of random stuff. Got a lot of Evangelion stuff, as you may know. We'll get into that later. Let's start with the really random stuff. And since we just talked about Godzilla, let's talk about one of his buddies, one of his Toho buddies. Not really, because they never really met in person, unless you call Godzilla with a frill strapped on his neck meeting him. And if you know what I'm talking about, if you don't know who I'm talking about, it's him, Ultraman. They just announced, or they just showed off the new Shin Ultraman design, which is a new movie being made by the creator of Evangelion and the director of Shin Godzilla. So these are related. This is not that, though. This is Ultraman Taiga, and I kind of like the design. He changes colors, and I found these at Book Off for really cheap. So I don't know. I was just kind of all hyped for the new Ultraman movie, especially since it's with Hideaki Anno and Shinji Higuchi. So I picked these up. I don't know if I'll hang on to them or not. I might put them up for sale. But anyway, yeah, I'm trying to hype myself up for Ultraman. So I'm trying to learn more and more. There's just a lot of things I just never really knew about Ultraman. And I'm learning and learning. But yeah, I like little Taiga guys. Alright. The next thing is, this is another random purchase. This is something I have no clue about. It's this right here. I did a little research, but I really don't know much. So when I saw this, I was like, whoa, that looks like Akira Toriyama's version of Thundercats, or something along those lines. Or something like Dragon Quest / Thundercats crossover. It's got a really long kanji name, but it's something like Thunderjet Lai. And it says Lai here in Rai, pronounced Lai. That's the name of the animated series. I really don't know much about it. This was a figure series by Bandai in 1994. And the really cool thing about this is it's very similar to the size and scale and box style of the Dragon Ball Super Battle Collection figures. So you've got the figure on the side. I got an illustration on that. We've got the figure on the back, although there's no picture of the figure line. And the cool thing about it is it's a little window box, so it opens up. So you've got the figure here. You can see some information about him. You can see that his clothes are detachable from the front and the back, just like Super Battle Collection figures. Comes with a sword. It's really sick. And then there's the figure itself, which I'm trying to get the reflection off of there. It's a really nice figure. I really like it. I've seen, after I did some research, I've seen some of the other characters from this line on eBay selling for like around 15 to 20 bucks. But I have not seen this one on eBay yet, so this is maybe a rarer one. I did find it for really cheap. I thought about selling it, but I really like it now, and even though the box is a bit beat up, I'm thinking I'm going to actually take it out and display it with maybe my Dragon Quest and Super Battle Collection stuff that I have, because he kind of fits right in. Nice little figure, but Rai, couldn't pass him up for the cheap price I found it for. So that's that. All right, so let's kind of bridge over, since I mentioned Toriyama Akira. I found this little plushie dangly thing of Toriyama as the robot. It was a little plushie thing. It was cheap. I kind of stopped trying to collect stuff like this, but I had a perfect little place to hang it on my wall over there. And it was actually kind of a companion piece to something else I picked up at the same place. And all of this, except for the Godzilla, I found at Book Off in my local area. And this is included in that. This is a vintage 1990 book called Akira Toriyama, The World. And these are illustrations, select illustrations from the late 70s until 1990 that I don't know if he selected or his editor selected, but I'll give you a quick look here. But it has like random things, like Wolf. Like, I like the last panel of Wolf. Just like he gets stopped by a policeman and he says hello to some kindergarten kids crossing the street. And then there's a whole section on Dragon Ball. But again, this is Dragon Ball from 85 until 1990. So this is like right at the cusp of the Frieza saga. So you don't really get a lot of post Saiyan saga art in here. So yeah, stuff like that. Sorry, I was probably looking at it, didn't even show the camera. You got some cool stuff like this. I love these old Dragon Ball illustrations. They're really cool. It's a cool little book. I got this for about 10 bucks. It's not bad. About retail, original retail from 1990. Lots of little cool little panels and things. Different variations of artwork. I've got some of his other books, like his specifically Dragon Ball art books. But the great thing about this is it also has things like Dragon Quest. So you got Dragon Quest creature designs and character designs, which is really nice. And then my favorite, actually before I get to my favorite, also throughout here there are little selections of Akira Toriyama's handmade hobby kits that he has put together and painted himself, which is very interesting because I know he really likes model kits, so you can see some of his personal collection that he's painted and stuff. But there's also an entire section about Dr. Slump, which is amazing. And I recently ordered, I found someone on eBay that was selling all of Dr. Slump on Blu-ray, ripped from the original Japanese Blu-rays, because they're so hard to find and they're so ridiculously expensive. I don't mind pirating them because they make it so hard to attain, especially with English subtitles, that, fuck them. Put them out, like Cowboy Bebop, man. They put those out on Blu-ray, the entire series. I know it's not that long of a series, but the entire series was out on Blu-ray with special features, English, Japanese, and it was like 15 bucks or something. Why can't they do that with some of the other stuff? I know there's all kinds of issues, but anyway, here's some of the art. So anyway, yeah, if you search Dr. Slump Blu-ray on eBay, you'll find someone selling them. I really like the colors on this one. Anyway, lots of great Dr. Slump illustrations. Really nice. And yeah, lots of Dr. Slump. There's some panels in here, manga. And then there are some other random manga that he did, like Chobit. And I forgot the other guy's name. I really like these illustrations of this character. She's kind of like a proto-lunch. And then you've got some more of his Dragon Quest characters, designs, and this awesome like little section interview that has a bunch of pictures of him in his daily life, which are really hard to find. This article is several pages long. It even has pictures of, they're really hard to see. They're printed on this weird yellow paper, but like you can see his studio, and I really like, I don't know if you can see it right here, but he's got one of the vintage Alien model kits, which is kind of cool. I think was it NPC that made those? Anyway, it's a really cool book. I'm sorry I dragged on about this book. But I believe this is available in the US too. It's not too hard to find. But finding an original printing in Japan for $10 was nice. Alright, while we're on the topic of books, we are going to switch over to Evangelion, but let's stick with the books for now. Some of you who follow my videos know that I've been collecting a lot of Evangelion stuff, and I've started to collect the original manga series. I had the omnibus versions, but they're not printed on very nice paper, and the covers are different. So I wanted to go and collect the original tankobon releases, and I've actually found out more about these manga in the recent weeks, which made me want to collect the whole set. So I went back. I've got the first issue, or the first tankobon series, and then I've got a few of the last ones. So I went and tried to fill in the gaps. So I got number 2. Just a real quick look through there. An interesting thing about these, number 1 actually came out before the animated series did. The first one came out in 1994, December of 1994. So this would have came out in 95. And then after that, the manga artist was also the original designer of the characters for the animated series, which is often not the case. A lot of times these are promotional material that are done by someone not related to the animated series, but these are actually drawn by the guy that created the character designs for the show, and that's very interesting. So, and he doesn't follow it, doesn't follow the story perfectly, so he has his own little interjections and things. But apparently he didn't finish the manga until 2014 or something like that, which is insane. So he was taking like a year to 2 years off in between volumes, and so the last volume came out not too long ago. So started in 1994, so it took him a decade to finish this stuff. Well, anyway, I also picked up number 3, Rei Ayanami. Quick little... Actually, there's still some of the artwork inside. I like the artwork inside. Got Shinji's a kid. Shinji and Rei. And the coolest one I found this premium edition of Volume 14, the final version. For some reason, I thought 13 was the last volume, because I said that in one of my previous videos, but no. It's actually Volume 14, and there are 2 versions. This is the special version, and it has a different cover. It comes in this little box. The standard version is Shinji wearing like a winter coat in the snow, and this one has all your main characters, minus Misato, or Gendo, and Eva Unit 1, and all the other characters. It's really nice. So this is fairly recent, but if you compare this to like Volume 1, it's not too different as far as like the art style, so he maintained that. But if you've ever seen End of Evangelion, that's the territory where this goes into, and but it is slightly different, and this does have a very different end. I really like the ending to this one, so I'm not going to spoil it. So if you are a fan of Evangelion and you've never read the manga, there is an English version available. I highly recommend reading it, just especially for the last volume, because everything else is fairly similar. But if you don't like the ending of this TV series, or you were somewhat disappointed with the ending of End of Evangelion, or they didn't make sense either way, this explains a bit more, and there's also a follow-up to what happens after that, which is very nice. Although there is a bonus chapter, didn't care for too much. Skip the bonus chapter. Well, inside also, it came with this little booklet that says, so the artist's name, Yoshiyuki Sadamoto, special booklet, and this has got some of his some special artwork in here that he's done. And this is a companion piece that goes with, like a little Neo Tokyo, a companion piece that goes with this CD. There's some more stuff in here, but, and so this was his working music CD. So these are some selections of music, I think all sung by the same artist. It's all kind of very atmospheric Japanese pop, but you know, it's very beautiful. The first track on here, you can find this on YouTube. You can actually find this if you just search that name. You can listen to this whole CD. I really like the first track. I gave this a listen, so yeah, it was nice. I'm glad I picked up this volume. It was only a couple $100 yen more than the standard volume. Better cover, in my opinion. Plus, it's got that bonus art book and CD. Okay, we're about to get to some more toys, but first, one more thing. If you watched my walking around Tachikawa video, I went to Book Off and I debated on buying this. I'm not a big fan of the rebuilds, especially this one. I'm trying to get into it just to hype myself up for the new movie, the 3.0 plus 1.0, 4.0 that's about to come out. But mainly I picked this up because it was fairly cheap. This is the Blu-ray, and it has a booklet inside that has character artwork and all that stuff. Although I'm not a fan of the Ava designs in this movie. But the main reason I picked it up was because it's got Giant God Warrior appears in Tokyo as the beginning of the film. So when you play this movie, it starts off with that. And if you're not familiar with that, Google that. Amazing stuff. It's basically a prequel to Nausicaa, and Hideaki Anno worked on Nausicaa, and he helped animate the Giant God Warriors in that original Ghibli film from the early 80s, and he commissioned it. So it's a live-action kind of puppet miniature video movie that shows what that was like, what happened to make the world of Nausicaa. And yeah, it's very reminiscent of, or Godzilla is very reminiscent of it as well. So yeah, check it out if you haven't seen it. That's why I grabbed this. We'll see what I think about the movie when it comes out next summer. I'll have to, yeah, that and Star Wars. I'm gonna see Star Wars tomorrow too with Ishii. I'll probably make a video, Ishii the owner of Toy Cats. I'll probably make a video before and after of that too, because get his reaction in mind. That'll be fun. Anyway, we blow through these toys. I'm running out of time. Before I left Book Off, I stopped at the 100 yen shop, and you saw I'd gotten some of those little miniature donkey horse roadie things, and I thought I had a complete set, but I was missing Shinji's little version, these little Ava unit collaboration roadies. I found they had one Shinji unit when I went there last time, so I picked it up. So now I've got a complete set. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in a set, and you can find these on eBay. People are selling these for like $50 to $75 a set, but if you want some, let me know. I can find them still for cheaper than that. Up next, I picked up a set, not a complete set, but I got several of these. These are from like 2001, I believe. 2001 little Evangelion figure clocks. There's the entire series there. And then here I've got Ava Unit 1. And this one actually had a working battery because these are fairly old. But it's got the Nerve logo on the side. And yeah, it's a cool little clock. And then I've also got this one with Rei Ayanami and Asuka. Pretty cool. I actually have an extra one of these up for sale on my Instagram page. I'm actually having a big Evangelion sale again, so please check my Instagram at Tokyo Toy Bastard. Some of it's already sold, like literally right before I started filming this. Just posted it today. But yeah, picked up so much stuff that I have doubles or things that I really don't need in lots, so I put them a lot for sale. Okay, so let's go back. Let's dial the clock back a little bit more to 1997, and I picked up some of the first Evangelion figures ever produced. These are from 96. These are from 96, I believe. These were Sega game prizes at the Sega Game Center. You could win these. I believe they were boxed and they were in UFO catchers, and you'd have to knock them down or grab them and pull them out. But you've got Shinji Ikari, which is not a bad figure. These are like fairly large. Not a bad figure for mid 90s. You know, kind of what do they call them? High grade, prize figure, and it has his name written there. The best one though is definitely the Unit 1 here with which also got that Shogokin with his whatever this thing's called that he locks into and shoots up, and yeah, that's cool. That was worth the price that I paid. I actually found these from a seller in Spain and ordered them from Spain, so did not find them here. So these were delivered, and there are 2 more from this set. I'm actually missing one. I'm missing Asuka. So there's Rei, and Rei's kind of fugly looking. She looks kind of weird. Her face does not look right. Yeah, Shinji definitely got a better sculpt, and I've also got Misato and Pen, and she looks all right. I think Shinji and Ava Unit 1 are the best of the mix there. So still looking for Asuka. And then in a similar scale figure, I found this at Book Off too. It was cheap. I never really buy mini or modern figures like this, like of the characters, but I had to grab it because it's Rei Ayanami, pre-rebuild 3.0, and she's got a removable spear of, or lance of Longinus, which I can use this to give to one of my other Eva units if need be. But for now, I've got her just displayed with it. It's a nice little figure. But yeah, not going to be picking up much of these, and if I do, they're going to be for sale. This one's not for sale at the moment. But yeah, same scale as these, almost, sort of. You see the difference in, like, this is maybe just a few years old, and this is since 1996. So yeah, definitely see how things have come, how far things have come. And the last item for my pickups is, and I'm not really starting to collect Revoltech. I still only own a few Revoltech figures, and they're all Evangelion, just because they're cheap. I find them cheap here, and I'm not going to pay a couple $100s for an Evangelion figure. So the Revoltechs are pretty cheap. So I found this Eva Unit 1 Movie Edition Awakening version. So, like I said, I'm not a big fan of the rebuilds, but let's see if I can get this light out of the way so I can get less reflection. I really like the way that this one looks. Maybe I will zoom. He's got a, I don't know if it glows in the dark, but he's got like this translucent arm thing. I'll show you the back of the box. There you can see what he looks like. And you can swap out his arm, and you can give him the shoulder pad and like laser eyes and all kinds of stuff. And I found this for like 20 bucks. So I had to pick it up. I haven't opened it yet. I'll probably do a review of it. There's already a bunch of reviews of this on YouTube, so I may not. If you didn't see my review of the 2006 Comic-Con exclusive glow-in-the-dark Eva Unit 1, there was not a review on YouTube of that, so I made a review recently. I'll probably put that in the description here. Otherwise, those are all my pickups. I hope I didn't ramble too much. Hope you enjoyed seeing some of these. Please check out my Instagram page for some of the stuff that's going up for sale, some doubles of these things, and some other things. And yeah, also, don't forget this guy. If you're interested in this guy, let me know. Forgot to plug one more thing. The reason I was going to show you all this Evangelion stuff again, and I have been recently, I was looking for a place to like kind of showcase my Evangelion collection, or share things with people, or learn some things, or learn some more information about some of the figure lines between 1996 and now. Because I've got a catalog of the figures that came out in 96, 97, but there are other things that I don't know about, so I didn't know where to go. I found some groups on Facebook, but it was just people posting pictures of like Asuka's butt, and that was it. So I started my own group called Evangelion Vintage and Modern Collectors, or Evangelion Collectors Vintage and Modern. Just started it like yesterday. We've got over 20 members now, so if that's something you'd be into, if you have a Facebook account, I'll link that below, so please join. And share your collection. Feel free to ask questions, and I'll also be posting things up for sale in that group in case you don't use Instagram. That's it. Sorry for rambling. I gotta get back to work. Only one more day of work, technically, and then more videos coming your way. And yeah, stay tuned for tomorrow. I will definitely do a before and after reaction with the owner of Toy Cats and Ollie from Ollie Imported regarding the Rise of Skywalker here in Japan. Until then, adios.